everyone, this is a video for a more updated version on my old version of BMT. Since I currently work in BMT, I get to see kind of the ins and outs, but more behind the scenes now of what maybe trainees wouldn't get to see or a lot of other people wouldn't get to see as if they have possibly never worked in BMT before. I'm not an MTI, I don't do that. If you've seen my other videos before, I work in an area called sensitive skills or security support, and basically what I do is I do paperwork for every single trainee who requires a top secret to come into the operational air force for their job. So if that possibly applies to your job and that kind of stuff, please go speak to your recruiter about it. See what maybe you can do to hopefully get a head start. Make sure that you're starting to get contacts information, your relatives information, so then you already have that when you come to BMT. Life will be easier for you if you have a job that basically requires BMT top secret. So what I did was I went through the schedules of BMT and I actually printed it out on a piece of paper like this. If you would like a copy of this, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to send you pictures of it, or if I can find it through my computer, I can send it to you that way. But I broke it down into every single week's. Due to what's happening with COVID-19 right now, BMT is currently a week shorter, so everyone is graduating 7.5 weeks instead of the 8.5 weeks. But once we go back to normal, we'll probably go back to the 8.5 weeks. So I will be explaining that of how it normally was before it happened back then. And then with Keesler's BMT, certain only AFSCs that require technical training at Keesler is allowed to attend the Keesler BMT right now. Currently, it's still males. A female flight will eventually be pushed through, but currently it's still males that will only be going to Keesler at this exact moment is what I've heard. So week 0, what happens is you have your drill 1. So learning how to march, learning how to flank left, maybe right, just super simple stuff. Your left phase, your right phase, your about phase. The boys will have clipper cuts, so they will get their head shaved. You'll have your initial BX issue run. You'll have your first clothing issue, which is usually Wednesday or Thursday. You'll have your BMT orientation briefing. You're in processing with medical, so that's usually immunization. So it's anywhere from 3 to 5 shots, depending on where you're born. Since I was born in China, but not on a military base, I was not allowed to get the TB shot. So for me, they had to draw a bunch of blood for me, and it was me, a couple of the girls, and 2 boys from my brother flight that had the exact same situation. So we constantly kept going to the same exact appointments together when this was happening. You'll have your drug and your pee testing. You won't realize it, but your MTIs will usually constantly be telling you, it's like, hey, keep hydrating, keep doing this, keep doing that. And then about 8 to 9 o'clock at night, when you're supposed to usually get ready for bed, they'll be taking you to where they do the drug or pee testing, and you'll just pee in a cup in front of someone, just like how you did at MEPS, and it's the exact same thing. You learn how to cope with stress, you get your UCMJ training, and you'll have your first initial phone call. As I said before, what I'm explaining right now is BMT of what would happen if we weren't in COVID-19, if it was still the normal BMT. At the very end, I'll roll over of what's kind of happening with BMT right now. If you decide to stay till the very end, if you do, thank you. With the PT and that kind of stuff, you don't do as much PT during your 0 week, just because when you get tested maybe for sickle cell and stuff, they have to ensure that you're healthy enough to do it, that you won't fall down or do this, or you're not hydrated enough. So if I remember correctly, I don't think you usually do PT during your initial 0 week, but depending if you're a winter or summer schedule will always do PT in the mornings because it gets hot in Texas. If you're from Texas, if you're from the South, you'll understand. The winter schedule, you'll be doing it about 15:30ish in the afternoon. Winter schedule, you only have to take 1 shower, and then summer schedule, you will take 2 showers, so 1 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. Every other day is run or a strength day, and then Sundays you usually don't have PT because the MTIs usually are not with you on Sundays unless you're a 0 week flight, just for them to explain what happens on Sundays, what's this, how do you get to your chapel services, your Sunday services, And there's different type of chapel and services on Sunday for anyone to go to, whether you're a Muslim or Wiccan or Christian and so forth. For week 1 in BMT, you do more records and processing, so you'll be getting your picture for your CAT card, you'll be doing airman's time. If you had been in BMT or you went through the Air Force, maybe not within the past year and a half, but before that, anywhere I would say from 2015 to maybe 2018 or so, you had a thing called Airman's Week. So instead of Airman's Week, we have Airman's Time in BMT. It's basically where the MTI gets everyone in the day room, they take off their hat, and they just talk about what they need to talk about in Airman's Time, or they call it facilitation time as well. You also keep doing drill 1, so your right face, left face, about face, normal marching. You will learn how to do EC training, so you'll get an EC monitor, and that's where you do EC, so you go on watch for your 2.5 hours with a wingman, and you just kind of stand at the door. You call CQ every so often, and you just let them know who's in the dorms, who's not in the dorms, where are they, are they at medical, doing an appointment late at night, are they not, and so forth. You'll have your medical and dental processing. You'll do your reporting procedure, so you'll learn how to report into your MTI's office with a wingman. Your GI program, so if you want to go with Montgomery or with the post 9/11, you'll deal with your weapon familiarization, so your M16, possibly of how to hold it, how to possibly take it apart. I'm not sure exactly which weeks that you learn how to take it apart and you start cleaning it and that kind of stuff. That's usually closer to Fest and to Beast Week. You'll have more briefings, which includes nutrition principles, intro to classroom and entry and exit procedures. As when an MTI walks into the classroom, the dorm chiefs usually have to say something, and the flight is at attention until the MTI or whoever the instructor is tells them to relax. You learn your rendering courtesies, your rank recognition. You do suicide and awareness and prevention. You will also be doing your week 1 PT appraisal, so a mock PT test almost in a sense. So what they usually do is you can go on Google, you can look up the Air Force PT test for your age range. If you're 30 and under, for females, it's usually about 38 sit-ups for the minimum, 18 push-ups, and then a 16:22 run. For girls, they usually started out as making sure at least you can do 5 push-ups, and then the more and more you get through BMT, the more they raise up the numbers. So it's a progressional thing. However, with your time, if you don't make a certain time by that week 1 appraisal, they told us when I was going through BMT that we would be automatically kicked out, as it's very hard to work on runtime than it would be to work on sit-ups and push-ups, as you have 1x3s you can do in your dorm room or the day room with a wingman during classroom break times you guys get. So with week 2, you have drill 2, so just more drill, learning new steps and so forth. You have career guidance. So with career guidance, that's in my building. I don't particularly work that section, but I have helped out that section quite a few times. So if you're a top secret job, or sensitive skills as we call it job, you will be talked to by classification. So another recruiter, they just want to say, hey, how's it going? Are you still qualified for your job? Is there anything that you need to tell me that you haven't told anyone? And so forth. And once you're good to go with that, you go on. There's also the open job, so maybe you're open administration, you're open mechanical, electrical, or general, something like that. What you do as an open job, and what I did when I was in open administration, is they sat you down, they explained a few things, and they made you write out a list of numbers, I think 1 to 10, of which jobs you wanted. However, you do have to go by your ASVAB score. If you do not meet those requirements for that particular job, you don't get to put it down because you don't meet the requirements, unless there could be a waiver for it or something, but that would be something to speak to a staff member about. Also for week 2, the guards and the reserves will get their own separate briefings, while the opens get their briefings and the top secret does their stuff, including with the PRP or my nuclear jobs Personnel Reliability Program. You do more briefs, Air Force History 1 and 2, Human Relations 2, Air Force Organization. And they have all of this on it's called a WASP schedule. The WASP schedule basically breaks down every single time you are either eating lunch or you're in a class, you're transiting. It breaks down almost every single minute of your day. And you'll be able to find that near your front entrance of your dorm room, usually where the EC stands. You do more airman facilitation time, weapon carry procedures, because when you're on AC, usually you're supposed to have your weapon on you. You usually will start having mandatory study time during week 2. So that's about 1900 to 2000, because 2000 to 2100 is getting ready for bed, showering, brushing teeth, doing hair if you're a girl, and that kind of stuff, and so forth. So either your MTI will let you guys know if you need to study your BMT SG, which is your BMT study guide. So that's what you prepare for your EOC during your 7th week of training. Or maybe you're allowed to write letters. Maybe you guys get a patio break or a mandatory patio break if it's the correct time and your MTI see that your flight's doing well and you guys have deserved it. Week 3 will be your second clothing issue. That's where you get your blues, you get your name tags. Now that we're in OCPs, it's all Velcro now instead of them sewing it down, so it's a little bit different. You still have more classroom time, start learning about cyber awareness, healthy lifestyles. You do dress and appearance too, because now you have your blues. Once you start wearing your blues, I believe 7th week of training or so, you have to learn how to wear them correctly. And your MTI will help you and teach you guys all that too. More airman facility time. You'll be doing details for the first time, so your flight will be split up randomly into doing different details. Maybe you'll go out at the warehouse and help out there. You'll be doing KP duties, which means you go to the DFACs, either your squadron or maybe at a different squadron, and you just help clean the dishes. You help be a chow runner, not a chow runner, but a normal runner, just to help out the contractors there. You might go to Seaburn and help clean out the mask. You also will be doing a 3rd week PT appraisal, so another mock PT test. So you usually will do it every other week. They just want to assure that you're progressing fastly enough where you won't get hurt, but where the PT's actually helping you. And if PT's not helping you, they'll be putting you in supplemental PT, which is just an extra 30 or so minutes for PT to help work on whatever that you need, whether it's run, sit-ups, or your push-ups. Still mandatory study time, normal stuff. You have drill 3 now, and then your sensitive skills folks, you might be coming back during week 3. A lot of things have changed just because we are in COVID-19, as I was saying before. If you would like me to make a more updated video of what's happening with the top secret jobs and when all those guys usually come in to see me and then whoever else is working, I can explain that in a different video. In week 4, you have drill 3 again, more classrooms, healthy sexual lifestyle, financial readiness, SARC, joint ethics. During this week, you also will get base liberty. So about an hour, 1.5 hours to maybe 2 hours, you guys will get to go to the mini BX or to the big BX or wherever they say you're allowed to go, and you just get to eat whatever you want then. As all those times they've told you before, don't get candy, don't do this, don't do that, otherwise you'll be punished, you'll get recycled and that kind of stuff. They'll let you know. You'll do a brief beforehand before they let you go, and then from there, whatever your MTI or your Darn Chief sees fit. More airman facilitation time, weapon familiarization, mandatory study time, or student training time as it's sometimes called. Sensitive skills, you'll come back again, keep doing your stuff. Week 5, you do details once again. Warehouse, KP, Seaburn, more classroom time, principle of first aid, joint code of conduct. This week, you get your flight in your individual photos, so learning how to put on your blues correctly. So your individual photos will usually just be a top, so they'll just have you probably bring in your short sleeve, your tie, or your tie tab if you're a female. You'll have not your ribbons on because you haven't graduated yet, obviously, but your name tag, you'll have your flight cap and Girls usually get to wear makeup for the pictures. Don't go overboard, otherwise your MTI is going to just tell you to take it all off anyways. Your flight photos will be in OCPs. That'll be with everybody, usually the 4 element leaders and the dorm chief are in the front with your guide on bear, your MTIs, and then everyone is in the back on stands or wherever they are taking those pictures. Mandatory study time, drill 4, PCs. So PCs, what those are little tests that you have to do to make sure that you're understanding everything during BMT. So you might do a drill PC. So for that, your MTI could have like 5 of you stand in front of them and be like, right face, and then you guys do the command, and then if you do it correctly, you get a check off from that, and if not, they'll help you, or you'll just redo your PC. You do military skills development PC and your recruiting living PC, so making sure everything's neat and orderly, not everything's just thrown in everywhere, because we're the military, we have to learn how to be neat and organized and orderly. For week 6, this is more drill for if your band flight is always going to be in the 321st. So if you say I'm flight B129, that means you're a band flight. Band flight in their 6 week of training will play for whoever is graduating that week. If you're a band flight, you will not be playing the instruments during your graduation week. Whoever's in their 6 week of training will be playing for you. And that'll be at the coin ceremony and the parade, so on the bomb run. You have your end of the course, so EOC as they call it. You have your BMT fitness test. Usually you'll have it in the same day, and that'll always be that Monday of your 6 week of training. So EOC's usually always in the morning. Sometimes it's in the afternoon. It kind of depends. BMT fitness test will be either in the afternoon or the morning, depending if you're on winter or summer schedule. You'll have FEST, so you'll watch some SEER videos, and FEST is foundational expeditionary skills training. I'm really bad at saying words today. So FEST is just learning how to do procedures when you guys go to Beast. You'll be learning a bunch of different things of being like, stop, spread your hands, spread your fingers, and then you'll call out a sign, and if the person, whoever says the wrong sign back, you'll learn how to get them like on their face and on the ground, on their face, just how like maybe security forces would be doing to someone if they were trying to apprehend them. More base liberty, you learn how to do computer training, so maybe you don't know your job, maybe you'll find your job then. You might be able to have time to look up a brief description of your job if your recruiter, let's say, didn't tell you as much. More classroom time, more sensitive skills time. Week 7 is Beast Week. Your TDLs are assigned. TDLs are element leaders, but for Beast. So anyone who's been showing leadership skills or opportunities or something like that, if your MTI sees it in you, they'll possibly make you a TDL. Your dorm chief and your normal element leader should not be a TDL, as they already in a leadership position back at the normal dorms. Seaburn exercises, CADM, which is shooting, the claw, which is the obstacle course, my favorite part. You'll get to do pugil sticks, which I advise always be very careful when fighting with pugil sticks, because when I was at Beast, we saw someone else take out someone's leg, and the next time I saw the kid, he was in a full leg brace. I'm not sure what happened to him after I graduated and I left. I don't know if he graduated or if he got sent home, unfortunately, but do be careful. You watch more SEER videos. For the meals, MREs are for breakfast and lunch, and then your hot meal will be at the end of the day for your dinner. Week 8, so your very last week at BMT. Clipper cuts once again for the boys, just because you got to get your head shaved. You got to look clean and cut in your blues. Brief, so it's about town pass. You get a brief about, hey, if you're going to another base, this is what kind to expect. Maybe you are going through the normal Lackland BMT and you're going to Goodfellow or maybe Shepherd or Monterey because you're a linguist, or maybe you're going to Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi. Not particularly my section, but I have helped the career guidance section, who usually will tell you guys about this. They'll go with you through your orders. They'll let you know what happens during your first couple of weeks through tech school. They'll answer usually most questions about tech school. More immunizations, HEP shots, easy. Orders, handouts, so your sensitive skills, medical flight physicals. Maybe if you lost your job and you need a new job, they'll make sure that you get orders with a new job that you are qualified for. Graduation, Thursday's your base lib, 1100 to 2000. So base liberty on Thursdays only staying on the base. You can only stay on the base. You can't go off base quite yet. And you will be in your OCPs, which is coin ceremony that day. Friday and Saturday are town passes. And that's from 10 or 1100 to 2000. And then 900 to 2000. So that's Friday's times and then Saturday's times. So Friday, you have your parade in the morning, so that's why you won't get released until 10 or 11 o'clock, and then you'll be back for accountability at 2000. And then for Saturday, since you don't have anything that's going on technically, you'll be released about 900 and then get back by 2000 before bedtime at 2100. Sunday can be base liberty or can be town pass. I believe the times are 900 to 1830. Just because usually what would happen is that Sunday night or that Monday morning, depending on where you go to tech school, is depends on if you ship out that night. So Keesler usually will ship out that night anywhere from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. And say if you're staying at Lackland for your tech school, you'll just ship out the next morning and you'll get on one of the white buses and drive down the street. Like I said, with COVID going on, BMT is only 7.5 weeks. Keesler's about 5.5 weeks and that kind of stuff, give or take. With the trainees that are coming to BMT in general, I can only speak for Lackland side. I just recently got here to Keesler, so I don't know exactly what's happening with them as the new flight's coming in this upcoming week. You guys will be put in quarantine for the 2 weeks. You still doing processing. Everything will come to you. So the finance, immunizations, all of your clothing sales, I assume they come to the dorms, to your squadron, and they do it there, however your TI says so. And then other than that, that's basically updated BMT. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment down below or to message me through Instagram or anything. I'm more than happy to help you. And other than that, that's it. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.